Right, trade fucking recap on NQ. Today we smoked, bro. My trade of it's not working, by the way. We smoked the markets today, right? We had an absolute banger day on the evals. I only got 4 evals at the minute. I need to buy some more, get them on the copy trader. But yeah, we smoked it. These are all consistency eval. Well, the apex isn't. This one's like smoked, like it's gone. But the other two were consistency. So I wanted to be a bit cautious with the profits. But yeah, we did decent. We did decent. Nice little decent day. Um, I say we did decent. We smoked it, right? We absolutely went to town. So this is gonna be like a really kind of what's the word? This is gonna be a really like sourced up video. There's gonna be a lot of source in these videos. In this video, going over the 2 trades I took. I took this short and I took this long. Let's make this a bit more visible so you can see. There it is. And there it is. Okay, so let's go over why I took 2 trades, because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, that's so unprofitable, take 1 trade and you're done. Why are you taking, you're hedging your bets? Bitch, shut the fuck up. I want evals first off, so I actually don't care like about losing trades, to be honest. And secondly, these 2 setups were both A+. So I was gonna take them, of course. If it was on a funded, then obviously I wouldn't take both. Once I took this dub, I would have been just left this one. But because they weren't on a funded, and they're on evals, like I said, I don't really care. I just need to get the consistency done and get them passed. Then when I'm on funded, we take it nice and slow, right? So let's get over both these positions, because they were just banging. They were just, oh, they were pitch perfect. Right, coming into the day, what was my bias? If you're struggling about bias, right, you need to look at what gaps are being respected, what gaps on, and where are we getting sponsored from on the higher time frame. Let me put my glasses on. Let me lock in. I'm like a nerd, bro. But anyway, yeah, where are we getting sponsorship from? Okay, to make the move down, you can clearly see we have all of these bullish fair value gaps over here. We got this one, we got this one, all of these gaps, right? You got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and they're just absolutely getting smoked. The only ones that we are respecting are these bearish gaps. We have sponsorship from here to this low, and then of course we are gonna hopefully get another move down. Now I did have this unfilled 1 hour gap as an area where we could see price kind of inverse, right over here. We could see price flip bias and go up. So that's why I wasn't too married to a short bias coming into the day, because we are at all-time highs. We have swept out all this LRL, so it makes sense for price once we come into here, maybe get another sweep, and then we go higher back up to the all-time highs, right? That's kind of what I was thinking of. But so the way I was trading today was like, okay, if we come into this gap here, this hourly gap here, we can short to here. If we come into this gap here, we can long to here and then manage my position. If price wants to continue going up, that's fine. If it doesn't and it wants to come down, we would have taken our profits, because again, I'm on consistency evals. So I had 2 kind of conditions coming into the day. But why I really like this fair value gap as an area to potentially reverse is we had this 4-hour intermediate low. Well, not even, yeah, these 4-hour lows being swept, and all this LRL just absolutely getting tanked. So it made sense to go long from here, right? So how did I do this? Let's go to the 1 hour. Like I said, we had this hourly fair value gap. ES wasn't showing me much, to be honest. I just had this gap as an area we could react from. You're like, oh, it's already filled. The daily gap wasn't completely mitigated. You could say it is, but there's still this, as well as we do like have this massive daily intermediate low, this 4-hourly low, that we could trade back into. And with these gaps, you'll find that price typically will test them once, go up, and then come back down, retest, and then get a reaction. So I had those 2 kind of things playing out. ES was not like that at that point. It was down here. Okay, so let's go over how I execute these trades. Now, my execution, I'll be honest, was a little bit shit today in terms of risk. Hence why the trade sync is fucked. I took 2 positions and only really profited at like 650 each. Again, I went to market execute and I realized on both trades I was risking $250 rather than 500. well, no, was it 250 or like 300? It was somewhere around that. Okay, I wasn't risking nowhere near as, I think it was about 300, where I wanted to be risking, but it happens, and it's on consistency evals, so it's not too much of an issue. So, how did we frame this trade? Like I said, coming into the market open, we obviously created this gap. Here we came down, and then, like I said, I have two conditions, right? I'm either going to short from here to here, or I'm going to long from here to there. Okay, two conditions come into the day, and these are really important to have this plan. So we end up trading into the gap pre-market. Now, to me, this becomes, let's just delete all this drones. This becomes sell side liquidity, because when it's a pre-market move into a gap, you're going to find that these lows get taken out pretty much all the time, right? So this wasn't a reaction where I'd expect price to go completely bullish from. As well as that, if we look at the way we're coming up to this gap, especially on the 1 minute, we are just creating all of this trendline liquidity. So there was no conviction that this was going to hold. However, coming out of the gap, we did get this 15-minute change in state right here, and we did get this 15-minute fair value gap. Now, this was my first long that I wanted to take, and I did end up taking it, but I went break even, and I did get actually tagged out break even. I took it slightly late. My trading view doesn't have the 30-second. Like, if I go on it, it just doesn't have it. I need to buy it, but I've been looking at TraderVate, and my TraderVate, don't even ask what was happening with it today. It was just all fucked up. So I ended up missing this 30-second short. We came low, immediately into market open, swept these lows, into this 15-minute change state, into this 15-minute gap. We fully mitigated everything. We tapped this 5-minute. We even had this massive rejection block right here, and so this was just beautiful. This was like so good. I was more so waiting on this higher time frame 3-minute gap, but realistically, in hindsight, this 3-minute could have been this 3-minute could have been a break-even point. So yeah, complete shit execution. Should have gotten it on the 30-second right here, back into the rejection block. And you see, if you don't fucking trade rejection blocks, I don't know what you're doing. This was such a nice rejection block, and you see that we wick back in. Well, we don't even wick back in on the 3-minute, or the, was it the 2-minute or the 1 minute, something like, yeah, the 2-minute. Look at the 2-minute rejection block, boy, chill. I'm getting blown up and shit. On the 2-minute, we have this rejection block. We trade back into it. We have the 30-second inverse. I think the 30-second inverse was here, and your position would have looked something like this, right? It would have been a fucking banger all the way to here, or at least to these equal highs over here. So that was the first trade I missed, okay? But easy fucking read, easiest trade of your life. Now, coming into here, what was I looking for? This is the first trade I took. We swept these intermediate highs. We filled this 5-minute gap. We did have an unfilled 5-minute here, but we're in an hourly. We filled this 15-minute gap as we soup into the gap as well. So we have this turtle soup into the gap. This was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Yes, we are coming off a 15-minute, but I'm thinking about where we are. We have this massive kind of sell side liquidity resting here as well now. So what was I waiting on? We had this pullback. I think we then came back in. We souped back into the gap. I wasn't really looking at too much of ES today, to be honest. ES was in a 30-minute at this point, and so again I am, and it's still in the hourly. So again, we've had this soup, intermediate highs, it's taken out. We've had into the 30-minute. It looked clean for reversal, to be honest. And so yeah, I was just mainly looking at this. I don't know if we had FST. Like I said, I was not looking. No, not really. And then what was I waiting for? Can I remember? I think I was waiting for this 3-minute to get inversed. I think that is what I did, which was there, yeah. And then once we, I mean, again, my executions were poor. Once we inverse a 1 minute like this fucking big, I should just go short right here. Have stops there and target this, to be honest, but I didn't. I got a shit fill. I think I entered somewhere around here, and targeted this as a quick 1-to-1. Yeah, it was literally like that. Okay, so we got in, beautiful 1-to-1 just there. Again, I wasn't looking to target this just yet, because this was a key point for me, as it was the low that created this high that caused a break of structure. So we are going to get a rejection off it. Like I said, I'm going for consistency, so I'd rather just take this here. My stop could have been a lot tighter, but I need the 30-second. I really do need the 30-second, but this was fine. Okay, this was perfect to thingy off of, and yeah, that was the first trade. Now, normally I'd say I'm done there, right? Normally I'd be like, okay, I'm done. Call it a day. Get off the charts. However, there were so many other entries I could have got, and I fucked it up. I was going to enter this. So we had this 15-minute change of state over here. We have this 15-minute inverse. We have this 5-minute fair value gap right here. This was the cleanest shit, I think, ever. Tap into the 5-minute. We fuck around a little bit. We create this 1 minute. We get this 1-minute inversion. This ain't a bad fucking trade to take, and your stocks would be like here. This isn't a bad trade to take. However, my only issue with this was this close through this fair value. It wasn't the best inversion. As well as that, you can see that I could have entered down here, but then my risk to reward is completely gone. It's not completely gone, but it's not as good. So I faded that setup. I waited for this one. Was going to go for this, but then I was kind of being a bit hesitant about the 5-minute. The 5-minute looked like just ass, and it was just chop city. But this was a banger trade nevertheless. And yeah, beautiful short. Okay, beautiful continuation model. Beautiful short, and that would have been a banger trade to take, but did not take it. So once we're here, okay, and we've swept this low again, so we've had this inducement, okay, we did have SMT at these lows. It's not the cleanest SMT, and I'll explain why in a minute, but it's SMT nevertheless because it's in a key level. The reason I say it's not the cleanest is because how strong ES was, right? So ES was not going to take this low. So I wouldn't really count that as an SMT. However, because it was in a key level, I did. Now, we are set up for longs. We have this massive accumulation range, right? We've had the manipulation. Now I'm looking for the distribution. We have these unfilled 15-minute. We have the unfilled tap CISD on the hourly. This mitigation wasn't good enough considering how big the gap is. If you look at the gap on this hourly, I'm expecting more of a thingy, at least to the order block. Why is the order block here and not here? Because this was the one that changed state. So just more confluence to go higher. And so what I was waiting for was this 5-minute to get inversed. However, because I then was looking at the 3-minute and we had these two gaps here, I was thinking to myself, if this gap right here gets faded and this gap gets faded on one 3-minute candle, then this 5-minute definitely is not going to hold, right? Because we faded 2 3-minutes just to reject a 5-minute when there's no more gaps on the manipulation leg. No. So again, this is discretionary. We get this big ass dick candle to the upside. I enter, and then we also get this 5-minute change of state. And then also, guess what we're gonna look at? Guess what we're gonna have a fucking look at? We get a 15-minute fucking rejection block. So I was then looking for price to trade back into this. And I believe I went long right there on the CISD. Okay, my stops was at this low, and then I targeted this high for a 1-to-1. Could have gone for this high, made more sense, and it really does make sense this trade to hold it a little bit longer. But again, I'm going for consistency on these challenges. So unless it's obviously the Apex don't have the consistency, but the Lucid did, and I was copy trading them. If I do that, it's just gonna fuck the consistency up. So I was going for this high right here. I was going to go breaking even at this high. Yeah, I was thinking of going breaking this high, but I was going to go breaking at this high. And then I thought to myself, I'm not a pussy. I never go break even. What am I doing? So price just decided to rip. It took this high here. Again, if you went break even, there is an argument that you do get stopped out. Again, why I never go break even. And then, yeah, price ripped to the 1-to-1 just there. And again, makes so much sense to target this as long as you manage your risk very well. You definitely would go break even there, and then obviously we get that distribution to the upside. Absolute banger, picture perfect trade. So yeah, my trading was just fire today. Again, a lot of people will be like, well, you shouldn't be taking 2 trades and they're in the opposite direction of each other. You should be one and done. There's a fair argument for that, but on evals, when I know what I'm doing, I'm trying to get these evals out of the way. So I'm not trying to fucking trade them like really strictly because I don't really care. they cost fuck all. So may as well just get them out of the way. And if there's 2 A+ setups like there were here, then I'm gonna take it. Right now, this is my second week on futures, and so you're probably thinking, how do you know all these confluences, things like that? Simply because I've been trading forex for ages. If forex moved like futures does, oh my god, forex would be getting absolutely smoked, but it does not, unfortunately. So I'm thinking of making a full switch to futures, but we will see how it goes, because right now getting absolutely murked on forex. I can't win a fucking trade, but I can, but just not at the right time. So yeah, this is just perfect. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of questions on Instagram, things like that, about futures. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Fucking do it. It is insane. You can trade both. Like if you trade London reversals and just London continuation, whatever. If you trade London session on forex, then I got smoked in this trade. I'll do a trade recap on that later. If you trade forex in the mornings, do it, and you live in the UK, still trade forex, and then just do New York for this. And because of the way E and GU at the minute are moving, you can just set alerts and then be ready for thingy. I got absolutely marked on this chain of stick delivery, which was on the 3 minute. Which, I mean, look at that. It's just beautiful. This was so nice. Look at all these equal highs. Absolutely smoked. But yeah, so on here, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Banger day. And I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, before I go, if you want me to do a strategy breakdown, I can do that as well. So let me know.